Right, I'm back. This time with a snuff review. So this is the Freiburg and Treyer Patchouli. This is obviously made with patchouli oil, which is kind of a very strong scented plant member of the mint family. It grows in places like Asia and Vietnam, parts of Africa, places like that. It's commonly used in perfumes, incense, herbal medicines, things like that. It's a very, very pungent, strong smelling plant. Now this snuff is a very, very old Freiburg blend. It's been resurrected. It's back out on the market. Out of the tin, it's kind of a lovely, lovely kind of brown snuff, slightly moist, very, very finely ground. Rub it in your fingers, and it feels like nothing really. There's no real texture to it or anything like that. Looking at it, it's a lot like one of my favourites, Old Paris, as the looks. Now I haven't tried this yet. I only got this in a couple of days ago in the shop, and so far I've resisted not trying it. Now I have been doing a bit of reading on this snuff, like I tend not to with a lot of things. I like trying these things blind. But I've been reading this. Apparently you have to be careful on your first pinch to gauge how much to take. I'm assuming a little bit too much gets rather strong. Out of the tub, it's very, very strong, pungent aroma. Kim, my other half, was commenting that it smells a little bit like the smell of a nursery when somebody's been sick, and it's the smell of bleach and disinfectant in there. I personally think it smells like basically parts of garden centres, florist shops, things like that. So, without further ado, let's have a pinch. Now, based on what I've just read, I should expect this to be quite strong. That's probably a little bit too much there, so. Whoa, let's see what they mean. It's a little bit sharp, and it has a lovely cooling sensation, which I found with another one of the Freiburgs. Oh, it does smell like I'm at a gardening centre, which I used to go to a lot with my mum to help her carry big, heavy things. My mum's obsessed with gardening. So yeah, when you first take it, there's a very, very, very delicate burning, and it becomes very, very smooth and cooling after that. The scent is, as I was saying, very, very, very floral. The burning intensity is very short-lived, but then it does leave a very cooling sensation in your nose. As all of you should have, everybody should have this, should have a snuff hanky. You can buy these as either snuff hankies or bandanas, but I tend to find you pick them up cheaper when you buy them as a bandana rather than a snuff hanky. I actually bought this from a scarf market seller in Nottingham, and believe it or not, the price I paid for this is cheaper than what I paid when I buy them as snuff hankies for the trade in the shop. So if any of you want a big snuff hanky, get yourself down to a market or somewhere, buy yourself a bandana. You do struggle this time of year in the UK because they're more of a seasonal product. But I did manage to find somebody who had one. Like I say, this cost me £1. Bargain. But back to the snuff. The scent is very, very intense to start off with. I've had this up my nose now for what, 2 minutes maybe? It's subsided very, very well. There is a lovely, still got the floral scent there. So it's lost its intensity, but still smells gorgeous. It's a very nice snuff. I don't think it's up there with my favourites. It's got a nice floral note to it, but it may go well mixed in well with a bit of JR Justice. In fact, on the subject of which, I'm just going to have a go. So I'm going to attempt to do a 50-50 mixture. Like I say, this is some of the Dr. JR Justice. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, a couple of little pinches. Now, this looks a little bit lighter in colour than what the patchouli is. A couple of pinches of patchouli to go with it. Actually, I take that back. The patchouli is pretty much identical. I do think the base for quite a few of these Freiburg snuffs, apart from the Santo Domingo, the Seville, the Princess Special and things like that, which are very, very dark and very, very light, on the whole, most of them seem to be the Patchouli, the JR Justice, the Old Paris, and even the Bordeaux, all seem to be on a par with each other, although the Bordeaux does look a smidge lighter. So I'm just going to give this a quick whisk up. I've probably mixed up a little bit too much here, to be honest, but so this is about a 50-50 mix with Dr. JR Justice and the Patchouli. Let's give it a try. Ooh, that's a winner. The lovely violet talcum powdery scent and the subtle sandalwoods from the JR Justice mixed with the patchouli makes for a very, very interesting snuff. Still got that kind of burn and that little bit of a tickle, but the patchouli kind of cuts down that talcum powder finish quite well on the JR Justice. But no, they make a really good combination. So if you've got a few bits and bobs kicking around, you've got a bit of the JR Justice and a bit of the patchouli. It can't just be me who ends up with all these ridiculous amount of tins of snuff all over their desk. Even after they've shared a load out with other people, I still end up with a desk covered in snuff all the time. But no, that makes for an extremely interesting combination. I have another pinch. Tuck it up there. No, those two mixed together, wow, that is a spectacular flavour. More floral to the JR Justice, but it's still got that lovely kind of violet finish to it. One of the things I quite like in my floral scented snuff is the smell of Parma violets and sandalwoods and rose and things like that. I really have got into my floral snuffs of late. That makes an interesting, very, very interesting combination. Right, just need to put this somewhere out of the way so I don't spill the rest of it until later. I shall be dabbing into that throughout the day. But no, so like I say, Patchouli Snuff. Very, very, very nice, slight intense hit. Burns away beautifully, has a nice cooling sensation in the nose. And the patchouli aroma hangs around for quite a while. But if you want to mix something up, like I just did then, try mixing a bit of JR Justice with it. It gives it a little bit more character. Because the patchouli isn't, well, it's a nice aroma, it's a little bit obviously one-dimensional, there's only one scent, there's no complexity, it's just, it is what it is sort of thing. But with quite a few, like I say, the FT snuffs I'm really getting into at the moment, I love the complexity. So patchouli, like I say, if you love floral snuffs, nice, simple, bog standard, you like the violets, the lavender, things like that, give patchouli a try. It's beautiful. I don't quite see the problem with taking too much. I don't have the sensation to sneeze, it's not burning or anything, my eyes aren't streaming with water. But no, another brilliant snuff by the FT guys. I really am glad Wilson's got the contract to continue these snuffs going. Imperial Tobacco, who bought out FT years ago, don't give a monkeys, to be honest. They still produce JH Wilson snuffs. They're made in South Africa now, I believe, and they still deal with Hedges. I haven't got a clue where the Hedges is made. I'll find out on Wednesday when I go to the Wilson's factory if Wilson's know who still produces the Hedges snuff. But no, I am glad that Wilson's got the contract for the Freiburg snuffs way back when, rather than Imperial keeping it on themselves. Because to be honest, JH Wilson snuffs I get complaints about all the time. There's problems with availability. And had Imperial have kept production of this, I don't think we'd still see the FT snuffs these days. So, thank you very much for watching. I can't believe I've babbled on for 10 minutes for another snuff review again. But hey, you just can't shut me up sometimes. So I'll be back later on with some early morning pancake. I'm just finishing, well, just waiting for the video I shot this morning to render. and that will be uploaded. And again, happy International Pipe Smoking Day, everybody. Instead of smoking today, I chose to have a bit more snuff. But anyway, until later folks, I shall see you all soon. Take care, goodbye.